Hello students, today I am going to start off with the next chapter, that is chapter 3, Ranga's marriage, from the textbook Snapshots, and the writer is Masti Venkatesha Iyengar, a well-known writer in Kannada language. The protagonist of the story is Ranga. The theme of the story is marriage. Setting of the story is a very small place, a very small village, Hosahalli in Karnataka, and the characters are Shyama, the narrator, Ranga, who is the protagonist, and he is the son of the village accountant, Ratna, a girl, and Shastriji, who is a village astrologer. Now let's move on to the story. The story begins with Ranga, who is the village accountant's son and who had just come back from Bangalore. At the news of his arrival, the villagers gathered at his home to analyze if he had changed or not and what was his perception about marriage, because they wanted to know his views, because he had come after studying in Bangalore. So they were expecting some kind of change in his personality or in his behavior. But they were disappointed to see that there was no change in his personality. He was still the same. Means everybody was excited because during those days not everyone used to get a chance to go to cities for studying, and that too in an English medium school or institute. This story depicts the life in Indian villages in the past when child marriage was a very common practice. And Ranga's marriage is an interesting story of how the narrator, means Shama, plans to get him married to an 11-year-old girl in the village. And this story dates back to the early days of British rule when English was not commonly used by the people. So we can say that Ranga's homecoming was a big event in the village. Now, here the narrator expects the readers to be thinking about the simplicity of the title, that is Ranga's marriage, very simple title, and he feels that readers might be thinking of some other unique titles like Ranganatha Vivaha or Ranganatha Vijaya or Girija Kalyana, something like that. But here he wants to clarify that although he had so many options of keeping such fancy titles, but he chose the basic and very simple one. Now he gives a description about his village. They live in a village called Hosahalli in Mysore. Hosahalli, this is a Kannada word where Halli, the suffix Halli means village in Kannada language. According to the narrator, not many people know of this place, and the narrator does not blame them because there is no trace of it in the geography books. Even the Englishmen have no idea about this place. He refers to the people as sheep who blindly follow each other and do not use their logic or brain to justify or invent things. And at last, he feels the cartographer is also not to be held responsible. Who is cartographer? A person who draws or produces maps. And as a result, there is no trace of their village on the map. While describing about his village, the narrator feels very sorry for getting carried away and deviating from the topic. But he again throws light upon the significance of the village. He says it is just as important as Mysore is to India, Karigadabu to a festive meal, and filling is to Karigadabu. Karigadabu is a South Indian fried sweet filled with coconut and sugar. So by giving this example of sweet, he wants to tell us the importance of this place. He also mentions that he is not the only one who loves this place. There is one more person who is the doctor of this village named Gunda Bhatta. He also feels the same. The doctor has been to many places except England, but he still loves this place. Then the narrator tells the readers about their special mango trees in the village, whose mangoes are famous for their special quality. He once took the fruit at home to make chutney, and everyone suffered from a bad cough after eating it. And it was only when he went to see the doctor he told him about the quality of mangoes of Hosahalli. In fact, the narrator asks the readers to take a bite and assures that the sourness of the mango will be felt by them till the top of their head, where Brahmandra is located, that is the softest part of the brain. The narrator then brings about a comparison as to how things were different 10 years ago when not many people knew or spoke English. Back then, only the village accountant had the courage to send his son to Bangalore. And according to the author, those times were simpler. He justifies his claim by telling an incident where he was at Ramarao's house and they had just bought a bundle of firewood from an old lady. Rama told her to come next morning as he did not have any change at the moment. But the poor old lady did not know what change meant. It means she was not able to understand the meaning of that word, English word change. And she went away whispering to herself. The narrator further tells that 10 years ago, English was not commonly spoken in this village. And when the villagers came to know that Ranga had come from Bangalore after completing his studies, everyone got so excited and rushed to his home to have a glance at him. And fascinated by all the crowd, the narrator went there and asked people as to why they were gathered, because he couldn't see anything entertaining happening there like a monkey performing. A boy without brains shouted loud enough for everyone to hear and in a rude way, and the narrator called him immature. Meeting Ranga at his place was a big event for the villagers, and all the people were waiting outside Ranga's house because the place would look like the black hole of Calcutta if they all went inside. By saying this, the black hole of Calcutta, the narrator means that there were so many people that the house would have fallen short to accommodate them all. Thus, Ranga came outside with a smile on his face, and everyone was so amazed to see that Ranga had not changed a bit after he left 6 months ago. An old lady even went to the extent of running her hands through his chest to check for a sacred thread, Janeu. This is the Hindi name, a sacred thread usually worn by the males. However, she went away after confirming that he had not forgotten about his caste. Means there was no change in his behavior and he was still the same who was wearing a sacred thread. That shows that he believed in his religion. Once the villagers realized that Ranga did not change even after moving to the city, they disappeared as fast as a lump of sugar does in a child's mouth. This is an example given by the narrator. But the narrator waited till the crowd cleared and asked him about his well-being. Ranga noticed him and replied with full respect in a traditional way. Ranga had not noticed the narrator in the crowd before that moment. That shows Ranga was very well behaved and well aware as to who could benefit him. He was one of those who could analyze someone's worth rightfully. That means he was a wise man. For how he greeted the narrator, he bent low and touched his feet, thereby seeking his blessings. It was not the present day namaskar, where children would do it casually. It was a proper traditional one. The narrator blessed him that he might get married soon and then he left. That afternoon, Ranga visited the author with a few oranges, which the narrator thought was quite thoughtful of him. Thinking of how nice Ranga is, the author decided, or he was just thinking, it would be a good deed to get him married to a girl just as nice as him. Ranga expresses that he doesn't want to get married so early because first he wants to find the suitable girl or the right girl. He cites the example of an officer who got married at the age of 30 to a woman aged 25. Now, since these are both adults, they would understand each other's actions and behavior. Whereas, suppose the narrator finds a girl who is very young, she could misunderstand his words or actions because she is not mature enough. He even mentions the love story of Shakuntala and Dushyant from Mahabharata, and that he would not have fallen in love with Shakuntala if she were too young. In that case, Kalidasa's play also would have not existed. That is why he intends on staying a bachelor till he finds the right girl. Now the narrator introduces the readers to a new character in the story named Ratna. She is 11 years old girl and she is Rama Rao's niece. She had lost both her parents, so her uncle brought her from the big town to his home. She had a great voice, very melodious and sweet voice, and she could play harmonium and veena. The narrator thought that Ranga and Ratna would make a great pair. Ratna was quite familiar with the narrator as he visited Rama Rao's place frequently. The narrator thought of a plan to introduce Ratna to Ranga. He asked Rama to send Ratna to his place as he wanted to send some buttermilk for them. She came all dressed up. She was wearing a sari. The narrator insisted upon her to sing a song while he sent someone to call Ranga. That was his plan. Just as she was singing, Ranga arrived at the door. Her sweet voice touched his ears, and thus he did not want to interrupt the singing, so he stood quietly at the door. He was so curious to see the singer, and very cautiously he tried to have a look, which disturbed the lighting in the room. And on seeing a stranger, Ratna immediately stopped her singing. The narrator compares Ranga's situation to the disappointment of dropping the best quality mango on the floor just before having it. It was as if something great had been stolen before one could fully enjoy it. Ranga asked the narrator why he called for him. Ratna was a shy girl and thus looked downward, whereas Ranga stealthily glanced at her. There was an awkward silence in the room. Ranga said that he felt it was his arrival that stopped the singing, so he must leave. However, he did not, and the narrator made fun of him because he had no intention of going. After a few minutes, Ranga finally asked the narrator about that girl. Now, the narrator compares the situation with the infamous story of the he-goat and the lion, where the narrator himself is the he-goat and Ranga is the lion. The narrator replies very cleverly and intends on seeing Ranga's interest in knowing about Ratna. That was also a part of his plan because he wanted to see Ranga's reaction. Thus, he says that who she is not of that much importance because she is already married and Ranga doesn't want to get married so soon. Hearing the narrator's reply, Ranga got excited, although he did not show it, but it was quite evident. And full of hope, he asks if she is not married yet, to which the narrator replies that she is, probably a year ago. And Ranga was disappointed and disheartened. It was clearly all over his face. He went away, quoting some verse. Now here, the narrator, Shyama, having staged certain liking in the mind of Ranga for Ratna, went on to complete his play or his plan. He went to the village Shastri and told him everything that had to be said and done. Means he told him his plan of getting Ranga married to this girl, Ratna. Then he met Ranga that afternoon and he carried the same disappointment on his face. Upon asking if it is a headache, the narrator tells him that they should go and see a doctor. Ranga insists that everything is fine with him and he is normal. But the narrator, who is very witty, he makes a remark that he went through the same feelings when he was seeing girls for himself and immediately mentions that it could not be the reason for Ranga. Furthermore, he advised that they should go and see Shastriji, village astrologer, to see if the stars were favorable. Ranga went with him, and on seeing Shastriji, he implied not having seen the narrator in a long while, which was obviously not true, as they had met before the same morning. Shastriji acted surprised on seeing Ranga as per their plan. Now the narrator asks Shastriji to take out all his paraphernalia. Paraphernalia means all the associated things which are required for any activity. So he meant to say that he asked Shastriji to take out all his tools to help solve whatever was going on in Ranga's mind with full authority. Shastriji took out all his essentials and told them that this was all ancient science, but he won't recite it now because then they both would get bored. Shastriji moved his lips while counting quickly and asked Ranga about his star, but Ranga did not know it. So Shastriji implied that that was manageable, and he appeared to be doing certain calculations. And after a moment, he indicated that Ranga was thinking of any girl, means there was a girl on his mind. And even after trying his best, Shyama, means the narrator, he could not control his laughter and suddenly asked about the details of the girl. Shastriji thought for a while before replying, and then he said she probably has the name of something that is found in the ocean. They started guessing the names like Kamala, Pachi, Moss, Pearl, and then suddenly Shastriji said Ratna. All of it came together now to a girl named Ratna, who is the niece of Ramarao. She was the same girl who was singing a song. That's it. And Ranga was thinking about her only. Ranga was both surprised and happy because Shastriji's predictions were right. He immediately became disappointed when he recalled that she was married. Shastriji said that he did not know all that and there might be another suitable girl, just to make it look real. Shastriji interfered in their name guessing game and told them that he only told what can be read. Both of them left and crossed Ramarao's door, where Shyama went to see Ratna for a minute and came back. Now the narrator announces that fortunately Ratna is not married and someone might have wrongly conveyed it to him. The narrator expresses his amazement at the fact that he has been thinking about Ratna and asked him to swear upon the truth. And then Ranga told him the truth, that whatever Shastriji said was true, and his belief in all the Shastras had strengthened. The narrator went to see Shastriji that evening when he was near the well, and the narrator remarked about how well Shastriji acted. But actually, Shastriji did not like this idea of the narrator and said whatever he said could be clearly seen in the Shastras, but he completely disagreed with having staged the entire conversation. Now the narrator takes the readers few years later, where Ranga and Ratna are happily married, and they also had a 3-year-old son, and Ratna was 8 months pregnant. Ranga's sister had come over to help them. It was Shyama's birthday. Yes, the couple named their son after the narrator, as it is a common foreign tradition to name your child after someone you truly admire. When the narrator went there for dinner, Shyama came running to him only to show his love by holding his leg. The narrator kissed him and gave him a ring. Since it was his birthday, means it was Shyama's, the child's birthday, so he gifted him a ring and placed that ring on his tiny little finger. So here the story ends, but the narrator writes an ending note to all the readers, hoping that they were not bored. So to sum up, we can say that cultural influence is depicted through this story. Means it is shown how the narrator very cleverly plans to get Ranga married to an 11-year-old girl just to change Ranga's perception about the arranged marriages.